stopped.
Thank you, Charles. One is, I was never arrested. I was never detained. And I did not commit any offense. I was stopped for a routine immigration check because there appears to be a duplication of my identity. And all this lasted for maximum of 20 minutes. And I was treated in what I do with all due respect. Charles, I lived in the UK
That was an introduction to the full clip. I'm going to release it to you in just a moment to watch. But first of all, let me welcome you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Peter Obi Media. Right. A lot of people have carried the rumor. They have said different kinds of things with regards to the Labour Party presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi. They said he was arrested in the UK because of identity issue and all of that. You know, different kinds of things. Don't forget that this is a political era where different kinds of people will orchestrate different kinds of things in order to demarcate other presidential candidates or other governorship candidates, you know, different types and kinds. But Peter Obi himself, Mr. Peter Obi himself, has granted this interview on Arise News, on Arise channel, where he actually, you know, shed a lot of light, more light into the issue, you know, so that all speculations or rumors, you know, will be buried this time. I'm going to release the video to you to watch. If this is your first time, this is Peter Obi Media. Try as much as possible to click on the subscribe button, like, and share. Peter Obi has a lot to say with regard to it, because a lot of people have been wondering why Peter Obi hasn't come out to talk, to give them explanation with regards to the so-called quote-unquote arrest. He said it wasn't an arrest. I'm not going to really say much about this. I just want you to listen to him speak.
Stopped.
Thank you, Charles. One is, I was never arrested. I was never detained. And I did not commit any offense. I was stopped for a routine immigration check because there appears to be a duplication of my identity. And all this lasted for maximum of 20 minutes. And I was treated in what I do with all due respect. Charles, I lived in the UK in the 90s, say from 1993 until 2005.
I remember meeting you in London, actually, in that period.
Yes. Charles, not just that I lived there. From that 1993 till now is a period of 30 years. I have never been questioned, arrested, detained in any country in the world. I've never even been, for any reason, found myself in any manner being questioned for any offense. I've not committed any offense. So it was a routine immigration check. And it lasted, like I said, less than 20 minutes. And I was actually given all the due respect by the border personality that interviewed me, who told me, your identity is duplicated, be careful. And actually had to walk me through what I can call the VIP process and everything. And I have a written document from British government.
I've seen that document.
Thank you. I showed it to you.
Clarifying the situation.
He was never detained, and it was just a few minutes question and everything. And they were Nigerians because I arrived on British Airways. So they were Nigerians who were queuing up. Even Woods here was even worried that I was asked to just wait for a few minutes. And when that happened, I explained it to them, and there was nothing. But it's been traumatized and everything because it's me, people said I was detained, committed an offense. People said even committed several offenses and everything. Oh, his company was closed. He wasn't paying tax. Charles, for the years I lived in Britain, never have I had any day been questioned. And I can say it, my taxes, my days were duly paid. In fact, most times they have refunded me money for overpayment. I've borrowed money, I've done everything globally. Not one day did I default in any. If you find one default, then it's not Peter Obi.
Well, I'm glad you clarified that point about the arrest. And in support of the point you're making, I have seen the letter from the British High Commission making it ineluctably clear that it was no such thing. Nevertheless, as you said, there was a huge hullabaloo about that in Nigeria. I mean, was that a humiliation for you, or at the very least embarrassing that all this was being talked about you, and I mean, even the people who follow you were disappointed?
Charles, I would have made comment on it earlier, but these things happened during the what I call holy month, where for me as a Christian, it was a fasting period and period of the Ramadan. And I felt it is not time to make comments. I only answered one question within that period when I was mentioned with treason, because I felt it's a huge offense. And because it was actually mentioned where it shouldn't have been mentioned. Other than that, I just felt this is the clarification. And I've just shown you the letter.
Yes.
I won't go about telling everybody and showing everybody the letter.
Yeah, that is true.
It just showed you where we've taken our rascality to, where people now come up with all sorts of things.
Well, some people said you were deported from the UK, but obviously not.
No, they saw it. I was routine check and I was allowed to go.
Right.
They even saw where I attended churches and meetings and everything. But that's where we have reached.
But I mean, what sort of questions did they ask you when they took you in?
Nothing. I was there. Nobody took me to anywhere.
Right.
I was just in front of a counter and I was asked a question and they said, there's something wrong with your identity. There's something wrong with your identity. Just give me a few minutes. And that's it. And I sat there for a few minutes. For about 15 minutes, he came back and said, your identity is duplicated. And if my identity is duplicated, you've lived abroad as identity theft, duplication, which I would say should actually must have originated from here. But that is for another day.
Yeah, I'm glad you've clarified that point. But there's also another question being raised about whether you are a dual citizen. As you said, you lived in London for a long time. I mean, do you have dual nationality, either British, American, or elsewhere? Because I was reading somewhere that you were conferred with the honorary citizenship of Dallas, Texas in 2022.
Charles, you know what that means. It means nothing.
Yeah.
Even one of the presidential candidates said that it means nothing. It just shows that, okay, well, if you come into this city, you're welcomed. It doesn't even give you a visa. If you apply for a visa, it can't even help you for your visa application. It means nothing. Charles, I've never applied.
Right.
And I will never apply for citizenship of any other country.
Yeah, but
I'm a Nigerian.
Right. But
I believe in Nigeria. I lived in the UK for a period of about 12 years. I had a permanent stay.
So you were a permanent resident in the UK?
But I had indefinite stay,
right. Okay.
Which means I can stay there for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But when I left the UK in 2025, I went back to them and said, take your stay. I'm no longer have anything. And I go to the UK with visa.
And also to clarify the fact that even if you were a permanent resident, that doesn't make you a citizen of
Well, I'm just telling you that even that stay, I returned it.
Right.
I have never applied, and I will never, as long as I live.
Right.
My family knows this, everybody knows that I was born in Nigeria. I'm a Nigerian. God created me a Nigerian. He would have made me an American. were Japanese, were British. But since they made it that I'm a Nigerian, I will want to live and die in Nigeria.
Nevertheless, Asari Dokubo, who is a well-known person from Rivers State, says he can prove that you are a citizen of the Solomon Islands, and that the conditions for buying property there is that you must be a citizen. What's your reaction? Do you own property there?
One, I don't know where is Solomon Island. I've never been such a place in my life. You know, I don't know. I've never been there. You know, I've no reason to go there. Few places I've gone in the Caribbean, people places like Haiti. I was in Haiti when they had the earthquake. I was a governor then. Everybody who is close to me knows that I've been to most troubled places in the world. So when there was earthquake in Haiti, I went to President Jonathan. He's still there. I said, Mr. President, I'm going to Haiti. They had an earthquake. I want to go and help them to rebuild. He was even surprised. He said, Peter,